Hello neighbor, Rosie Zepeda here with Fiscally Responsible Common Sense Policy on Homelessness. So one of the things that no one talks about is that we have three distinct homeless groups. Everybody tends to center on one particular group, and in reality, the whole is made up of three parts. I'm going to talk about the three distinct groups and different solutions for them. The first group is what I call the chronic homeless. The chronic homeless are the ones that are most visible. You see them in the creeks, you see them in their tents, you see them along the freeways. The average time that the chronic homeless have been homeless is 20 years. And it's going to be very difficult for them to go from that state to going into a shelter or going into four walls. It's just going to be very, very difficult because they've been out in the elements for a long time. So my proposed solution for this is to have a homeless sanctuary for this particular group where they have the ability to then bring their things with them. If you haven't worked with the homeless, their items, their personal items are very, very important to them. It's very distressing to them when they're just taken away and they leave their stuff behind because that's all they have. And then that will provide some safety for them, and then also give them an ability to, we can have like porta potties. And you might say, well, that's going to be expensive. Well, we're currently spending $500,000 a year picking up this particular group, putting them in the jails, and then just to release them back. So we've created a cycle right now that really doesn't resolve anything. It's imperative that we put porta potties and give them, safe space to do their necessities, only because it poses an environmental and health hazard to keep having them live in the creeks. It really has. There's an article that came out that said that San Jose could actually have the first outbreak of cholera because of the homeless living along the creeks. And then I propose creating a liaison position at the city that works with the county to bring those different types of services and to the different individuals and what they need. So that's one group. The second group is what I call the middle group. And the middle group has been homeless for probably about 7 to 8 years. And they became homeless as a result of the economic crises that started in 2008. Many of them lost their homes. You might see them in our district living in campers. And for these individuals, I propose putting them up in motels using Measure A funds from the county so that they can start getting used to being in a, particular housing. And if they're not working, then we need to work with, workforce and some of the programs that we have in the city to try and re-engage them back into the workforce. And finally, the third group is the one that no one really talks about because you don't see them. And they have the highest percentage of succeeding of getting out of homelessness. And this is who I call the working homeless. The working homeless are really where most families with children, fit in. And they live with families. They live in the shelters. We don't see them because most of us, don't go to the shelters and visit the shelters. But no child should grow up in a shelter. And for this particular group, given their high success rate for getting out of homelessness, we immediately need to accommodate them into the various motels that are available on Monterey Road, and with Measure A funds, pay for them to stay there. Unfortunately, the tiny homes was passed by the city, but it was passed for the wrong population. It was actually passed for chronic homeless, and in reality, they're not going to go live in a tiny house, and the tiny house is a concept, and the tiny home would have been perfect for the working homeless, but they passed it that no child could actually live in it, so we can't use that. But this particular group we should house immediately because there's children, and then this group would be first priority when we start building affordable housing. So Rosie Zepeda with Fiscally Responsible Common Sense Policy. Thank you.